What's your most awkward getting things back from the ex story?
Back in June of this year, I was dating this girl who I had been on and off again with about 4 times in the past year. We had been together about a month, so I had some things over at her place. So right at the beginning of June, she starts ignoring me. No calls or texts at all. After a week, I decided I was going to pick up my stuff. Most of it was small and easily replaceable, phone charger, a t-shirt, and so on, except my favorite pair of pants. Now, normally, I buy regular pants from Walmart that only cost me $20 or so. But these pants, they spoke to me. From the second I put them on, and they snugly fit to the fact that first night I wore them was the same night I had my third one-night stand, I knew that they were the pants even though the cost $80. So finally I get a hold of her and tell her I need to come by and get my stuff back. Well, I tried 3 times to go over when she told me to come over, but when I got there, she wasn't there. I got fed up with that shit pretty quickly. So one day I go over there, and just as I pull up, she was walking to get her mail. So I step out, tell her I don't want to talk to her, I just want my stuff. She comes outside after a minute with a box of my things. I look in there to make sure it's all there while she's watching. She then proceeds to watch me take out 2 pair of jeans, 2 pairs of boxers that aren't mine, and the wrong phone charger. She's bright red. I'm pissed because I now know for sure what I thought was the reason she stopped talking to me. I got the jeans back, though.
A couple of days before I broke up with her, we watched a movie together I had rented. I pretty much forgot about it until my mom asked me about the late fees that were showing up on her Blockbuster card. This was way back in high school. So first I call my ex to ask if she can take it back herself. No dice. It wasn't a pleasant breakup, but hey, I might as well try. I ask my mom if I can just pay the damn $50 or so myself, but she says no on account of it ruining her credit score. Even back then, I was pretty sure it didn't work that way. So I drive my ass all the way over to her place to get it in person, sweating bullets the entire way. She greets me outside and asks if I want to come in to get it, so I step inside. What are you doing? Did I say you could come in? I'm just looking to finish this shit up ASAP, so I get back outside. Turns out she had it with her anyways. Her. Hey, can we talk about this in your car instead? Me. Nah, I have a bunch of photography equipment in there. Her. So, breaking up with me was a really terrible thing to do. You're a really bad person. Me. I'm sorry you feel that way. Can I have the tape? Her. You know I was the one who broke up with you, right? That's what I'm going to tell everyone. Me. Uh, "'Kay, cool, can I have the tape? She is holding it out in front of her, so I grab it, and she doesn't let go. I pull a bit, and she pulls back. This escalates until I am basically physically wrestling with my ex over this godforsaken piece of shit video that I probably didn't even fucking like. And then she starts yelling shit like, "What about that book of poetry you gave me? Want that back too? What about everything else?" This is pretty much exactly the way I did not want this situation to turn out. I'm thinking, bitch, it's a fucking Blockbuster video. I wouldn't even be here if my mom knew what a credit score is. But instead of saying that, I snatch it out of her hands real quick and get back to my car, double time. Jumped in and drove off super quick, as I was legitimately concerned that she would chase me down and do something to the car. Fortunately, all she did was sit on her doorstep and look really depressed. School the next day was pretty awkward.
My ex-boyfriend borrowed my Super Nintendo while we were together. He had bought a bunch of games at yard sale for about $10, and he wanted to try them out. After we broke up, he spent several unsuccessful months trying to get me back when all I had to offer was friendship. Finally, he drove to my apartment one day, a box in hand. He announced that he was done with this one-sided friendship and that I'd hurt him enough. He handed me the box. Inside said box was every note, letter, card, painting, drawing, etc. that I'd ever given him. Notably absent, however, was my Super Nintendo. I called him a few days later and said that I wanted it back. He screamed at me that I'd given it to him as a gift. I laughed and said there was no way I would have given it to him. He swore at me, screamed some more, called me a few names, but in the end said, "Fine, if you want to be a fucking Indian giver, come pick it up." Who the fuck says Indian giver? Spoke to him maybe once after that and never since. Edit. Just realized this wasn't actually the most awkward story. I actually drove to Canada with my new boyfriend to pick up some things from my Canadian ex, PS2, games, etc. I now realize I need to stop loaning out gaming systems. The three of us having dinner together was among the most awkward events of my life. My current boyfriend and I also decided to get some poutine while we were in Canada, but the poutine place only took cash and we were unable to find an ATM that would accept our Visa logo debit cards. My ex actually walked down to the poutine place to cover it for us.
Well, I'm not going to bore you with the story of how all of it came about. Basically, my ex-boyfriend and my current boyfriend's ex-girlfriend started going out after we broke up with them, which was awkward enough. So I'd arranged to exchange belongings with my ex at his house on my way somewhere, and we were both cool about it. Similarly, my boyfriend and his ex arranged something like we had. So the day I'm meant to go exchange stuff with my ex, my boyfriend gets a text from his ex saying they'll both be round at hers, and if we wanted, we could all just exchange stuff there. Now at this point, despite what happened, we were all pretty civil to one another. Or so me and the boyfriend thought. Now we realize now that us going over there to see both of them was a terrible idea. But at the time, we were like, let's just be perfectly friendly and nice and just make this as pleasant as possible. No, that was not to be. Because when we arrived, the door flung open, and there stands my boyfriend's ex's dad. And he be mad. He starts yelling and saying how my boyfriend has a cheek asking for gifts back, which he didn't. She said she wanted to give them back because she didn't like having them anymore, and that he wants X, Y, and Z back, and saying how he should be ashamed of himself. He then retires to the living room and sends out the X's. My ex glared at me the entire time, in the creepiest way possible. Boyfriend's ex was just unpleasant. Oh, and I didn't get my stuff back. He forgot it and dropped it off while I was at uni the next week. My parents were livid that they'd all acted like that. Don't reckon I've ever heard my dad so angry in the background of the phone conversation I was having with my mum. I mean, fair enough. I suppose they may not like us. That's understandable. But you know, it was the most awkward, unpleasant experience of my life.
Write in the comments what awkward situations you had with your exes.